Mary Lou McDonald.
Lascan Gorla. Taoiseach Ava Cahill is 11. She's from Tala in Dublin, and she has spina bifida. She's been waiting for more than a year and a half for corrective surgery. And as a result of this wait, Ava lives in considerable and daily pain because her feet have turned in on themselves and her condition is worsening. Her mother says that it's increasingly difficult for Ava to hold her splint in place, and she needs this to keep her feet straight. Ava says it's increasingly difficult for her to do everyday things. Her feet keep getting caught in her pants when she tries to dress herself, and she doesn't want anyone to see her feet. Ava, like every child, simply wants to do the things that her friends do. And she so badly needs this operation because she says it will make my feet straight and I can tell people that my feet are normal. Ava's story is not unique. 90,000 children are on some form of waiting list. Hundreds of children wait years for urgent, life-changing orthopaedic surgery for conditions like spina bifida and scoliosis. Many children with spina bifida wait between 1 and 4 years. Una Cately of the Spina Bifida Paediatric Advocacy Group outlines what this means for these children. The open sores and wounds, the skin breakdown and infection, the incredible mental distress for their families and for the children themselves. And some have waited so long that they are now inoperable. Inoperable, having waited for a procedure to which they are entitled, but now it's too late for them. Orthopaedic consultant Conor Green told the Oireachtas Health Committee in November that children's potential is being destroyed physically and psychologically because of all of this. And due to the wait, children who once walked independently are now in wheelchairs. This is a failure of vulnerable children. So, Taoiseach, time is of the essence. The longer these children wait for surgical intervention, the more complex procedures they eventually need. The wait is ruining their chance and their right to a normal life free of pain. It's not good enough for them to be simply let be. Ní mór ag an rialtas gníomh dhéanamh vigor na páistí atá ag fanacht obrad spina bifida agus scoliosis. Cílíonn sé sin páistí a bhaint as na lista feitheamh. Cin tóí in eisteach de €2 million go gheoffaí na páistí seo na hobrádaí ag tastal go géir uhu. Taoiseach, government could act today to end the agonising wait for these children, to get them off the waiting list, ensure that they have the life-changing procedures they desperately need. For a relatively modest investment of €5 million, the additional capacity necessary could be delivered to clear these lists. This funding request has been with your government and with your Minister for Health for 2 years. So, Taoiseach, I want to know why this money hasn't been allocated. Let me tell you, it's the best €5 million your government could spend. It would make a huge difference to their lives, free them of serious pain, improve their long-term outcomes and relieve their families of the most immense stress and worry. Children shouldn't have to display their agony or shed their tears on national television or protest outside the Dáil to get the health care they need and that they are fully entitled to.
Thank the Deputy for raising the issue. And if I just may, at the outset, let's concur just to say that Sagum Gumig Tok D Treat and Tach. Ag déanamh mós na machara agus choglacha in Old Tracy of atá imime lí na fiúranna modern. And I just want to express my deepest sympathies to Mary and to his family on the death of Noel Tracy, who's had a long and distinguished public life. In 1982, he came into Oireachtas and into the Oireachtas and served as Minister in many portfolios, principally in the Department of Taoiseach and European Affairs, Education and Science. Ara chumanaha agus fear scrupulach of his agus he performed a great public service throughout his lifetime. On him and to Mary and the family, I want to express my deepest sympathies. I saw that piece on RTE at the weekend in respect of the situation in relation to children waiting for surgery and orthopaedic surgery. And could I say in the first instance that additional funding has been made available to the health service and to the HSE in respect of waiting times and waiting lists. And both in terms of Crumlin and Temple Street and also in terms of CAPA, the CHI, that's the Children's Health Ireland, have the capacity to free up space so that complex orthopaedic procedures, including scoliosis, spinal fusion, can be carried out at these CHI sites. And so it's not and should not be an issue of funding. That's the first point I would make, because I think it's unacceptable that children have to wait so long for urgent surgery. COVID did impact, and they did get instructions prior to Christmas in respect of public health advice to prioritise, for public health reasons, the capacity within hospitals for COVID, and also the issues surrounding Omicron. That would have happened in earlier surges as well. But for 2022, 350 million has been made available for improving waiting times. That includes 150 million to the National Treatment Purchase Fund. So whatever immediate capacity issues can be developed should be developed, because the funding is there to do it. Obviously, I did listen to Conor Green on radio during the week, and he made the point that obviously the priority is that they would be treated within the CHI sites, because to facilitate follow-on treatment for the child who would have had the surgery. I intend to meet with the Children Health Ireland in relation to this, and I've sought a meeting with them and also with the HSE, because anything that has to be done to reduce these waiting times for children who need urgent surgery has to be done and should be done. I want to get a proper assessment also in terms of the actual waiting times for the children on the list and how long individual children are waiting and the reasons for that.
Taoiseach, don't play the COVID card, because as far back as 2014, Temple Street issued a report, a damning report, setting out the failures of children with spina bifida. And to this day, these children are failed yet. And I'm afraid it is an issue of funding. It is an issue of funding, and there is a request for €5 million of funding that has been with your minister now for 2 years for Kappa Hospital. Current spending, current funding of €5 million. And you've known about this for many years. This is a matter of funding. So I think we can deal with this quite simply. I want a commitment from you that the monies required to give these children the procedures that they need will be released as a matter of urgency. Deputy Cullinan and I have met with the CHI. So by all means, meet with whomsoever you wish, Taoiseach, but you don't actually need a long round of meetings to understand what's happened here. As a matter of fact, and I'll finish on this point, Lascan Corla, would it surprise you to hear, Taoiseach, that there are operating rooms, operating theatres idle in Kappa? We have the surgeons, we have the capacity, they need the funding. It's €5 million. Minister Donnelly knows about it. Taoiseach, make it happen, ensure that this funding is released urgently. Urgently.
We started off great. Can we go back to keeping the time? Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're asking the wrong question, Deputy. 5 million isn't an issue in solving this.
Well, then release it.
Sorry, it's not an issue. Ask yourself the question, why hasn't the CAPA request been facilitated?
Pardon me?
Why hasn't it been facilitated? That's the question you should ask yourself.
Why hasn't it what?
Why hasn't it been facilitated? Why haven't the authorities? The funding has been given to the HSE, right? We have said to the HSE, we've said to everybody that listens, in terms of hospital capacity,
Need to tell them.
deliver any additional beds, capacity that
They
you can
haven't
do
done it.
in the shortest time possible. There was 600 million last year given as a winter initiative. Okay, 800 extra beds were provided last year. Funding is not an excuse any longer. Record sums of money have been given to the Health Service Executive, to CHI. They should get on with it and get it done.
Tell them that.
Yes, I have told them that.
So you want me to go
No, I
and tell
don't.
them? You want me to do your job?
What you're
I'm
doing,
happy to.
no,
I'm
and
for
again,
your job
I've
anyway.
noticed this is...
No, Taoiseach, sorry.
But sorry, this is just a point of order, if I may. This is a recurring feature of leaders' questions.
No, at this point there's no point of order, Garmog. Sorry to interrupt, but the time is up. Thank you.
There's an open mic with the deputy. I don't have that
Thank you.
facility when other deputies. I don't interrupt when deputies.
That's
This is a
right.
regular occurrence here. I have to bring it to your attention, and it's
Thank you.
disrupting the deliberately premeditated
Well, then
reason.
don't ask
The
me
bottom line, what I'm
questions.
saying to the deputy is the deputy...
I answer questions, you see.
And I've given you the answer.
Please, thank you. I'm now standing up. I'm now standing up. No, we're not going through this. Sorry, no. We'll do it through the chair. So the Taoiseach should not be interrupted, neither should the deputies. So if we do it through the chair, it might be easier. I'll keep a close eye on everything from now on. Okay, we're going to move on.
Well, ask you, there's an open mic every day now.
No, Taoiseach.
What's your deputy?
Taoiseach,
This is every day.
Taoiseach,
This is every day.
Taoiseach, at this point, it's leaders' questions. The time is now up for Sinn Féin and
Well, I just want to make...
I'm moving on to Páirteann Lochdaibra and Oireachtas Howland. Garmag, Chucimid Jurashkuji, Chucimid Jurashkuji an Clóraibra agus an Cui a will may no an Cancorla a Dailo le Rodi is Fedra Chuck the Rashkuji an Pointshin. Okay, I can Pointshin shot on me Golarai, Oireachtas Howland.